Welcome back to episode 8 of Lepodcast. You're here with Hoop, Sainey, and the infamous ZZ Huncho, or should I say, Zesty Huncho. In the aftermath of episode 7 with Nico Mannion, 2 of the 3 of us have received new nicknames, Zesty Huncho being for Z, who's also the birthday boy. Happy birthday, man.
Thank you. Thank you all.
And we got a bunch of comments saying, what's Booga doing there? And I'm not into professional gaming at all. I didn't realize they were talking about me. Apparently, I look like the Fortnite world champion, which I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
It's clearly a compliment.
I'm gonna take it like one. I would dust all y'all in Fortnite.
Hoop Bush camps in Fortnite confirmed.
It really fell off after 2018. But besides that, our lineup for today, we have the LeHeadlines as always. Then we have Frown On Brown featuring Jaylen Brown and Kevin Durant, Hookah Luka, and LeDecision hosted by ZZ Huncho. Before we get into the headlines, Lepodcast is sponsored by Manscaped. Use code Lepodcast for 20% off their entire site. Your balls will thank you.
I know mine have thanked me. Mine have thanked me.
Mine have thanked me.
They have indeed. So starting off with the headlines, Instagram model Just Gazelle posted a screenshot of LeBron James viewing her story, and she wrote a caption, "Every day a new rapper / athlete creeping, ... Still a no from me." So she's like publicly rejecting LeBron being a creep for going into her Instagram story. Obviously, her post backfired because everyone knows she's just chasing clout.
Right.
And she's now made her account private and turned off the comments. So I just want to ask you, because LeBron doesn't seem like that kind of guy. He seems like a nice family man and just a really good role model in general. So what do you guys think about this whole ordeal?
Well, since it's my birthday, I'm going first. Personally, what's her name? Giselle? Is that what you said?
It's
Jezebel.
It's GHA.
It's not important. It's not important at all. It isn't important what her name is, because the disrespect that she is bringing upon the name of the great LeBron James is absolutely baffling to me. It's disgusting. And the fact that you have a whole lot of clout chasers out here, and this is the world that we live in nowadays, this is our society. You chase clout. If you're an Instagram model, you buy things that make you look like Kim Kardashian, and then you flaunt those things on social media, and in hopes of athletes such as the great LeBron James to come and creep into your viewer count. And here's the thing. I don't even know if that's real. That's probably Photoshopped. And if it's not Photoshopped, it's not that big of a deal, because Savannah James is a strong, independent woman. And to tell you this, you heard what Mark Jackson said in the 2017 finals. If it was me, I'd knock her out of the park. Now, I'm just saying, now if Mark Jackson is saying that, LeBron James is sitting there thinking, yeah, I'm going to knock my wife out the park too. I'm chilling. I'm good where I'm at. I'm a family man. We got Bryce, we got Bronny, and we're chilling. And Zuri, or whatever their kids' names are, whatever. But they're vibing, okay? Leave that man alone and let that man just vibe in peace. You know for a fact that the Braun Sexuals just targeted her account and made her go private. What does she think she was doing? Has she not been on the basketball side of TikTok? Braun Sexuals come in all shapes, forms, sizes, colors, and age differences, mostly ranging from 4 to 12. But they will be there in your comment section just to trash your stuff. That's all I'm saying. It's disrespectful and blasphemous.
Sainey, before you go, you took that Mark Jackson quote so out of context. They were talking about softball in the broadcast. And I know it's funny.
He said, Savannah James just walked past my table. I remember because me and my homies was like, did he just say that? He said, Savannah just walked past the table. Now, no disrespect to King James, but I'd knock her out of the park. What does he mean by that? I don't know if he means on the field. I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Sorry, one last thing. I forgot to get your reaction on the nickname Zesty Huncho. I know it's your birthday, so it's not a great time.
Oh, my God, bro.
But what do you think about that?
It's an interesting time for me. A lot of you guys saw the video. And honestly, like I said before in my TikTok, I was very shocked because I thought it was a welcome to the NBA moment. And he started off by talking about Draymond. So I thought that he was going to end up saying, like, Draymond kicked him in the nuts, Draymond yelled at him, Draymond tried to fight him, something. That's what I was thinking. And then he just says, yeah, I was just matched up on Steph. I'm like, he said 5 days in, he just got drafted, and they put him on the franchise star. Like, what? So I was just absolutely dumbfounded and baffled. And apparently, that baffled face looked a little bit zesty. But you know what? I can sleep at night knowing that zesty face is not as zesty as John Morant's gritty. So I'm chilling. I'm bobbing. I'm chilling. It's all good. You know who it is, ZZ Huncho.
So getting back to the headlines on this model stuff, Sainey, what do you have to say about her actions?
I'm gonna say this right now. LeBron James, even if he had intentions with that model, he was looking, he was peeking. If hypothetically, I wouldn't say anything about it if I was Savannah. All right, LeBron James, great man. He's probably just dabbling here and there. It's all good fun. I don't think it's true, but you know, I think LeBron's a great family man. Everybody's seen that there's like a whole post listing off all the great things LeBron has done. He's never been in any trouble or scandals. Obviously, I don't believe it, but ain't nothing wrong with looking at a model story. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with that. I do it. Lord knows I do it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't see the problem.
I think that's a pure accident.
Yeah,
it
like.
Doesn't sound like LeBron.
No, you know what he was doing? He was probably just trying to find a model for Life Water. He's a businessman. He's
my God.
He's not looking
he's
not looking to pull. He's looking to pull in some revenue. You know what I mean? Like there's a difference.
Yeah.
Saying on a real note though, that's like whack looking at a model story if you're a married man.
No, obviously I'm making a joke. Yeah, no, I'm clear. No, obviously.
I'm just making sure you're making a joke.
I'm just making sure. No. I don't obviously. I don't think he was like either was photoshopped or it was just like
man to man right here.
Honestly,
just, like, growing as
no. Like real talk. Sometimes I'll click on people's profiles and I'll see that red circle around their profile picture. I'll just click it. Like I'm not like clicking it to see if I can see some. You know what I mean? It's just like an accident. Like it's just like muscle memory. Oh, let's see what's on their story.
I think it's a pure.
And he didn't swipe up on the story either. It's not like he reached out to her. Like he just saw a story. For real. Like that's not. He had no idea what was going to be on that story in the first place. You know what I mean? It's not like. But
imagine getting a DM from LeBron. I'm LeBron James. It'll be like probably like 5 hashtags in there. What's up, man?
Hashtag that
kid from Akron. Hashtag the kid from Akron. Hashtag strive for greatness. Hashtag life water. Low life water.
Oh yeah.
Like curious. But anyways, if you could lead us into Frown On Brown.
Yeah, of course. What a great way to start the episode. So Frown On Brown. If you haven't heard already, I mean, this was very recent. This happened 4 hours ago from the time we're recording this pod. But Jaylen Brown tweets out something that's clearly directed at the Celtics front office. Brown tweeted out, "Shake my head," or SMH, for anybody who's not in Gen Z and doesn't know what SMH is. After reports came out that the Celtics centered a trade package around Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant, which included Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and a first-round pick. The Nets countered by wanting Smart and a few more pieces, blah, blah, blah. The main issue, or the main topic here isn't about, the Celtics offering Jaylen Brown to the Nets. It's more about Jaylen Brown's discomfort with the Celtics that he was even offered. I mean, the Celtics team just went to the finals. They lost because they kind of let things go at the end of things. I thought they were the better team. I thought they were better than the Warriors. I personally thought the Celtics were going to win. I think they crumbled because they were young. And I definitely think they can run it back. I think the Celtics would be stupid to give up Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart for Kevin Durant. Only because like you're giving up your main defensive piece, and Jaylen Brown, who I don't think he's tapped into his full potential yet. I think he can still be better than what he is right now. And he's only 26. And clearly he wants to stay with the Celtics. I mean, this might, change his motives a bit, but what are your guys' opinions on it?
If I could just start quick, Marcus Smart is not the Celtics' main defensive piece. I think Celtics fans themselves would tell you that Robert Williams is that guy, and Steph torched Marcus Smart. No one's stopping Steph Curry. The Celtics, I still think they were the better team on paper, but if you're not going to get a guy to stop Steph Curry, I don't think that guard perimeter defense, if they're not going to be elite enough to stop the elite of the elite, it's not like your franchise defensive player. I think Robert Williams clogging up the paint is that guy. But I think that the Celtics would definitely take Kevin Durant for Jaylen Brown. I believe he's on a 2 years left on his deal. He's going to be a max player. And for 4 years of Kevin Durant, instead of letting Jaylen Brown walk potentially, these next 2 years, the Celtics would be, if they don't give out like a ton of major pieces, if they keep Rob Will, if they send off Marcus Smart, a couple first, they would be like the best team on paper in the East.
I don't like to see it as 4 years of Kevin Durant. I like to see it as like maybe 2 more years of prime KD, and then he just falls off after that. I don't think Kevin Durant is going to be in his prime till 38. I don't think
someone like that falls off.
I don't think he's going to be. I don't think Kevin Durant is going to be a top 5 player for the next 4 years in the league. I think
and that's when Jason Tatum comes in, because Jason Tatum, even though like
I feel like
fun
bringing
to
on
slam
Kevin
him
Durant.
because he doesn't have.
I feel like
he
bringing
doesn't
on
have
Kevin
that
Durant.
killer mentality.
Sorry, I feel like bringing on Kevin Durant hinders Jason Tatum's what's the word I'm looking for? Growth. Like, I still think Jason Tatum is going to grow into a easily top 5, possibly top 3 player in the league in the future. But I think bringing on Kevin Durant slows that down.
Imagine KD teaching Jason Tatum.
That's what I was
100%.
thinking.
No, I think the Celtics would be sick with Kevin Durant. I'm not saying they shouldn't pull the trigger if it's just Jaylen Brown and Derek White. That's the original trade package. I think they shouldn't include, like, the Nets countered with Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Derek White, or another rotational piece, assuming it's probably going to be Derek White, and a couple of first-round picks. I think you don't. I don't think you do, because we all know Kevin Durant. He the slightest thing will put him off. Like, how many games did he play for the Nets in the last 3 seasons? I think it was 90 in total, right? Like, he's not reliable health-wise. We see, like, the Celtics torched him and Kyrie. Like, clearly, Kevin Durant's a great player. I'm not hating on Kevin Durant. I know I'm an Oklahoma fan, so it seems like that's, like, my main motive anytime I talk about Kevin Durant. But if I'm the Celtics, I would much rather keep Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and build around that duo.
I agree with Sainey. I think it's way too early to split these two up. I know that Tatum and Brown have been in the discussion amongst the media and league, officials and executives saying, will they work? Are they a good duo? Are they a good match? Whatever. And even after the Eastern Conference Finals, when they won the trophy, you remember Jaylen Brown going up to Tatum and saying, they said that we wouldn't be able to do it. They said we wouldn't be able to work, yada, yada, yada. Now we're here. They just swept Brooklyn, just swept KD, put him in a box and sent him down a river. And now all of a sudden, KD just throws his name out there and says, hey, I want to be traded. You got to think, it's Kevin Durant. That's how I'm looking at it. Every other team is also looking at it in that manner. So they're sitting here saying, you have Kevin Durant, who is still one of the best players, if not the best player in the world. That's why half the teams in the league want him. And they're willing to give up their future to win now. That's just how it is. And a part of me is thinking that I've been listening to too much Skip Bayless, because, good God, every single time that there's a report, Skip Bayless is like, I told you. You see, if a team wants him, they're gonna want the best player in the world. You see, LeBron, he's not in the like, bro. The problem is that Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant, right? Jaylen Brown, like you said, he's well on his way to getting that max deal. But all I'm saying is, I look at the Boston Celtics and I look at what they did in the finals, and I don't think that they were the better team. I think that they were inexperienced, and it showed. And I had a feeling it was going to show, because all the media was talking about was championship DNA, right? The Celtics had a team that turned it all around after the All-Star break, was more keened in and zoned in on defense. Ime Udoka was phenomenal in his rotations and trusting guys to do certain things. But at the end of the day, the team is still young. How do they get better, though? You just keep going with what you got. You got to get them the way more experience than what they've gotten. Because prior to getting to the finals, they were getting bounced out in first, second, and the conference finals for years, since LeBron in 2018. Like, he met them then, and then they've grown into what they got now, a team that can get to the championship and has got to be able to win it. So for me, I think you need to just back off a little bit with the thought of, oh my God, we can land Kevin Durant. You got JB, you got JT. Those two, I think, are good enough, and you're building around them. You got guys like Robert Williams. You got guys like Grant Williams, not Peyton Pritchard, but Marcus Smart. You got all these guys that can play the team basketball that they need in order to succeed. So I think they got all the weapons they need. They just need to pull back on this KD talk.
Well, the thing you say you think that JB and Jason Tatum is enough to make it back.
I do.
No, I'm saying you think with KD and Jason Tatum, That's what, like,
I wouldn't say
earlier
that.
this
I wouldn't say that. You got to remember the Bucks. The Bucks, when they come back healthy, they're gonna be scary again. Like the Bucks, because you got to remember this, Hoop. Not only like we're not even talking about on paper. Like let's also factor in the locker room presence they lose with Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is the heart of that team. You know that
right.
When they flipped the switch, when Marcus Smart sat down and called out JB and JT, and he was like, "They're playing too much iso ball. That's why we're losing. They're not playing as a team." Marcus Smart comes out, says that publicly. They flipped the switch. Clearly, something went on in the locker room where, and I truly believe it was Marcus Smart who came in, brought that vet presence, and was like, "You guys need to learn how to play as a team. Let's all come together. Let's do this." Right? When you have a guy like that in the locker room who's constantly motivating and on everybody's cabooses, I'm not going to say the A word here, that helps a lot. You know what I mean? Especially when you're a young team and you're hungry to win a championship, you need a guy like that to set you straight. Kevin Durant is not a leader. He is not a leader. You cannot tell me Kevin Durant is a guy that'll go into a locker room and motivate his guys. He's not like
Ime
that.
Udoka is a leader.
I love Ime Udoka. I love Ime Udoka, and I do agree with you. He's a great coach, but I'm just saying I'm not willing. Like Z said, they just made the finals, and they lost. They were 2 games away from a win against the Warriors team, who had Steph Curry playing the best basketball he's ever played in that final series. I think we can all agree, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna run it back like you said. You have Rob Will in the paint, and I would love, if I'm the Celtics, I would do everything I can to keep Marcus Smart on the team just to have that vet and that leadership presence. If it was the Brown, Derek White, and the first round pick, like that initial trade package, you know what? I could see the argument to bring Kevin Durant on. I personally, I'd be willing to give up that first trade package for Kevin Durant. I'm not willing to give up Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, another rotational piece, and some draft picks. Because that's truly giving up your whole future to win within the next 2 years. And you got to remember, the East is going to get stronger next year because we got teams coming back from injury. We know Harden took a pay cut, so the Sixers can try and build a better team. I don't like the Celtics giving up JB and Marcus Smart.
I do want to move on to another partial segment in this topic.
Right.
But you're trying to win now with Jaylen Brown too. He's going to get a max deal in 2 years, and the team is not going to look the same when you have to pay 2 of those guys. So I don't know what the difference is. I think the difference is you get Kevin Durant instead of Jaylen Brown. Yeah, you're going to lose some rotational pieces, but I think the Celtics, with the roster they had, they looked terrible to start the year last year. And while they looked like they completely flipped the switch, and I would totally expect them to come out on fire like they did last year, there's a possibility that they don't. And the talent, it doesn't seem like the talent on the Celtics roster has improved incredibly. It seems like they started to click. And unless, I don't know what Malcolm Brogdon is going to do to that team. If you throw in another piece, maybe it doesn't work.
Right.
So I just think with Kevin Durant, you have a more sure shot as opposed to Jaylen Brown when they could lose to the Bucks. I think a healthy Bucks team would have beat the Celtics last year with Chris Middleton.
Oh, 100%. And I
think,
agree with you on that.
I think a steady first option like Kevin Durant, where Jason Tatum, remember, he's a very good first option on every other night.
Right.
As he's the second option next to Kevin Durant, learning from Kevin Durant, I think that 1-2 punch is incredible. I think the team defense with Ime Udoka and Rob Williams still at the center would be incredible. And I think that's just more of a sure shot as a win-now team, which you need to be as the Celtics right now.
I agree with you 100% that I would do Jaylen Brown. Like I said, I would do the Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and first-round pick for Kevin Durant right now. I would not do the counteroffer. And the Nets, we all know the Nets. They are high on something I cannot explain right now. The drugs they are taking are ridiculous because the trade packages I'm seeing for a 34-year-old Kevin Durant are out of this world. Yeah. While I do think Kevin Durant should get a historical package in return for him, I think Jaylen Brown, a guy that you can use as a franchise player in the future for the Brooklyn Nets, Derek White, who's a solid piece, and a first-round pick is enough for a Kevin Durant that clearly wants to leave Brooklyn. It's not like they're shopping Kevin Durant and they have all these options. It's like, no, Kevin Durant is on their cabooses right now trying to get out of Brooklyn. He clearly does not want to be there. He clearly does not want to stay with Kyrie Irving, who's going to be on and off because of that vaccine. I would do the initial trade package. If I'm the Celtics, I'm doing everything I can to not package Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and another key piece in that roster. Because I think that breaks up not only the team, like how strong the team looks on paper, but it also messes with the chemistry that the Celtics have built and I think is one of the most crucial parts to the Celtics' success.
Yeah. All right. So we want to get into another subtopic here. I saw a tweet earlier today saying this: in 100% honesty, Jaylen Brown would have been the player I considered off limits. This was in response to a tweet saying that the Celtics have Jason Tatum as a non-tradable. This guy says Jaylen Brown should have been the untradeable player, and he happens to be in the room with us right now. So you could unmute your mic real quick. We have Crafty in the building. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. This is Young Crafty on the mic.
That's a better rap name than Insaney. I'm not.
Hey, whoa, Insane. That's a crazy name, Hoop. You're a hater. Let's continue.
But anyways, bro, we need an explanation here because I like Jaylen Brown a lot, and I do agree with the media in that he has the killer instinct. Jason Tatum does not. But Jason Tatum, to me, is the far better player. I think people forget the regular season, and while the playoffs are more important, regular season still matters. Jason Tatum is a great defender, great playmaker. He just needs to find that consistency. But in terms of keeping one guy locked up, Jaylen Brown over Jason Tatum seems kind of crazy to me. I don't know what Sainey and Z think, but Crafty, if you could just explain yourself real quick.
Okay, so the way I would perfectly explain it, at least, is this is right now we're talking about. We're talking about Kevin Durant. He's available right now. There's no telling if KD will be available tomorrow. Actually tomorrow, but next year or any of the years after that, because who knows? He could finally become a loyal player like he never has been. But if we're looking at who we want to trade right now, I think that Jaylen Brown is going to give you a better chance to succeed in the playoffs, specifically because we know that if you have Kevin Durant on a team, they're going to make the playoffs. That Nets team has so many existential crisis issues with James Harden and Kyrie Irving. I'm surprised Kevin Durant found a way to get them to the playoffs with that scrub rest of team that they have. No offense to Poppy Solo. But if you put Kevin Durant on any team, you're going to make the playoffs. That's pretty much a simple going to happen. Same thing if you have LeBron James 2 years ago. If you have that Kevin Durant to get you to the playoffs, I would much rather have Jason Tatum from what I've seen. I'd much rather have Jaylen Brown from what I've seen in the playoffs, especially with this last year, than if I had Jason Tatum with Kevin Durant. I think Jaylen Brown would complement Kevin Durant much better than Jason Tatum would. I think if you're looking for someone to trade in this instance, I'm getting rid of Jason Tatum and having a Kevin Durant and Jaylen Brown pairing rather than Jason Tatum and Kevin Durant, considering that I'm getting COVID winded out. I'm sorry. Kevin Durant and Jason Tatum, although are not the most similar players, they have a very similar play style in far as if you were to consider a position, you would probably consider them both small forward, power forwards. That's what they both play. I don't see them working well on the court or as well on the court together as I would see a Jaylen Brown in instance. And I also think Jaylen Brown in the long run is going to be the better player because of the way he's progressed the last 2 to 3 years and because of the killer mentality that Jason Tatum likes to act like he has when he really doesn't. Jaylen Brown knows who he is. He's also one of the smartest players in the NBA, if not the smartest, either book smart or basketball IQ. He's one of the smartest players in the NBA. And I'm getting rid of Jason Tatum if I'm the Celtics. They said, do you want to get rid of Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown? I'd say take Jason Tatum out of my hands.
I will say this, Crafty. I'm not going to say your point is right, but I will say that I do believe that Jaylen Brown would complement Kevin Durant more. But I think it would be blasphemous for the Celtics to give up Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum is someone that the Celtics are looking to keep for the long run till his prime ends at least. Jaylen Brown, to me, especially after these recent trade rumors, Jason Tatum has never been in a trade rumor ever. The Celtics clearly don't want to give him up. Jaylen Brown, to me, isn't as loyal to the Celtics as Jason Tatum is to the Celtics. If you give up a guy like Jason Tatum who's clearly set on staying in Boston, wants to build something there, and in my opinion, Jaylen Brown will never... You never know what happens in the future, but in my opinion, Jaylen Brown will never reach a top 5 player in the league status, right? I don't see that happening.
I just want to ask.
I don't see that happening.
To build up on your point, I want to ask, why do you think that Jason Tatum is more loyal to the Celtics than Jaylen Brown? Because I don't see any sort of, at least in my mind, I don't see any sort of reasoning to believe that.
Because, well, a great example. Great example comes from today. Jaylen Brown has clearly shown discomfort in the Celtics today.
Because that's because they tried to trade him.
Exactly. No, but that's what I'm saying.
If someone tries to trade me too.
He's clearly showing the fact that he has discomfort with the front office, and he's like, why are you guys shutting me up? If you guys aren't going to be loyal to me, why would I be loyal to you? That's my perspective of it. Where
Jason Tatum would go. If Jason Tatum was in the trade rumors, he would go.
But he's all going to be. Celtics are clearly
make Deuce a Twitter account, and Deuce would be sending hate comments.
But guess what? He's not in the trade rumors. He's not in the trade rumors.
I'm not saying that. I understand that he's not in the trade rumors. That's not. We already know that that's something we can't change. I think he should be the one in the trade rumors. Is what
I don't
I'm
think
saying.
he shouldn't be.
Because
he's younger, he's better. That's literally all you need to know. He is much better than Jaylen Brown.
If I'm the Celtics, I'm focusing on the playoffs. We're thinking about this is the team that Danny Ainge has constructed and left it, and Brad Stevens is stuck with to create and build around. And what he saw as a coach was what Danny Ainge did. And Danny Ainge focuses on potential, not right now. And that potential is what got the Celtics to where they are right now. And I think the potential of Jaylen Brown is higher than the potential of Jason Tatum.
With the whole playoffs thing, Jason Tatum did underperform in some games.
I mean, the Celtics can enjoy their 100 turnovers if they want. They can
hold on. But Jason Tatum is also being guarded by the best defender. Jaylen Brown's being guarded by the second best defender.
Because he's in his
shadow. Kevin
shadow.
Durant to the Celtics. Jason Tatum, 6'10", demigod. I know he's inconsistent, but the second best defender with Kevin Durant on your team. Jason Tatum, he's a good playmaker. I know the turnovers really hurt him, but he's willing to give up the ball. He's with Jaylen Brown. He showed it. I just think with Kevin Durant, I think that the talent of Jason Tatum is too strong to not ignore like the inconsistencies
I think
or to
so.
ignore.
So my disagreement with that is the inconsistencies of Jason Tatum clearly affect the team on the court. Jason Tatum doesn't play well, it's game over for them unless Jaylen Brown goes
With
off
Kevin
for 45
Durant.
points. I understand that, but I'm saying with the inconsistent, that is his team. If Kevin Durant joins the team with his track record, no one's going to look at that Celtics team and still say it's KD's team.
No. It's
no one's
Kevin
going to look
Durant's
at
the
it
first
like
option. If Kevin Durant goes on any team in the league right now, he's the first
it doesn't.
option.
I'm not saying he's not going to be the first option, but it's not going to be his team. Jason
be the
Tatum
best
will be the
player.
leader of that team. Yeah, there's a
But
difference
as
between
an
the
NBA
leader of
team,
the team.
an NBA team, you're not, like the Bucks aren't gonna go up to Giannis and be like, "Don't guard Kevin Durant. He might be the best player, but Jason Tatum's the leader, so go guard the leader. Don't guard the best player."
No. That's
They're
not
gonna
what
say
I'm
like that.
saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying the best player, the best defender. It's still going to be best defender on Kevin Durant, second best defender
Okay.
on Jason Tatum, which I do agree
Right.
can be deadly. But the night that Jason Tatum is off, you can clearly see on the supporting cast of the Celtics, the team that Jason Tatum has been with since he's been drafted. Pretty much, it's a very similar roster to that point. These guys get demoralized when Jason Tatum doesn't play well. They look at Jason Tatum like a shrine. If he doesn't play well, we're not going to play well. And the only player who doesn't do that is Jaylen Brown. And I think if you're going to have those inconsistencies, those multiple turnovers like he had in the playoffs, even with Kevin Durant on the team, it's going to lower the morale of the entire team just because this is the guy they've seen go off for crazy numbers. And it's demoralizing seeing someone that you know who does amazing and plays great every game, and then he has games where he just doesn't perform. And when he doesn't perform, you get demoralized because that's supposed to be your leader. I'm not gonna respect a guy telling me to play better if he's having one of the worst games.
I really don't know how to respond to that, to be honest. I just think Jason Tatum, talent-wise, like, peak for peak. Like, Jaylen Brown's already 25, and while he has
26,
progressed...
isn't he?
He's
25.
26?
He's 25.
But I'm saying, like, you're not going to get that much better from 25. You could see, like Julius Randle, like, when he joined the Knicks. Like, he I know it's but he had an All-NBA year. Like Jaylen Brown can have a year like that, but he's not going to take leaps and bounds as a player. I think what you're seeing out of Jaylen Brown right now is really what you're going to be seeing of him for the rest of your career. Jason Tatum, if the consistency comes with Kevin Durant taking a lot of weight off his shoulders, I think he could take that step into a clear top 10 player, which a lot of people expect him to be the face of the league one day. And I don't want to go that far, but I think he could be a top 5 player
Easily.
come 3-4 years from now.
Yeah.
I don't think
Tatum,
Jaylen Brown will ever scratch top 5 player in the league.
No.
standings.
With Jason Tatum being only 1 year younger than Jaylen Brown, why do you think his ceiling is so much higher?
Okay, Crafty,
because he's
hold on.
inconsistent.
Don't spread misinformation. Jason Tatum is only 19 years old. Okay,
Oh, my bad. He's a 19-year-old. I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
Okay, but Hoop, continue.
Yeah.
Because he's inconsistent. When he's on, we've seen Jason Tatum have a 60-point game. We've seen him have crazy games where he took over Game 6 in Milwaukee. It was like 5-6 buckets in a row where he just had that. He was locked in. It's more of a mindset thing. Jaylen Brown has all the tools. He's ready. It's just the talent level is what he's missing. And it's hard to add that when you're already 25.
And to build on that,
in the world.
To build on that, Hoop, I feel like when we see Jason Tatum take over a game, it actually leads to a Celtics win. But whenever we see Jaylen Brown take over, for example, in the finals, it doesn't have as big of an impact on winning the game.
Well, Jason Tatum, no one can stop him when he's on fire.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's
Exactly.
no one who can stop him.
I think that goes back to my point of when Jaylen Brown goes off, it's because Jason Tatum couldn't carry the load and the rest of the team is demoralized because their leader's not playing well.
But imagine having Kevin Durant carry the load if your leader's not
That's
playing
what
well.
I'm saying. Like, we're trying to progress Jason Tatum
like,
as a young player.
we've
with Kevin
seen-
Durant at
we've
his
seen
side.
Jaylen-
we've seen
Jaylen Brown.
Upside.
Jaylen Brown can't take the
under-
role of making an impact on winning when your number one guy isn't consistently playing good. And with any great superstar, you're always going to have a moment where the player's not going to play good. We've seen it with every superstar. Every superstar has had their moments where they're not playing great. And imagine when you're not playing great, you turn around and you see Kevin Durant wearing the same jersey as you, putting up buckets. Like that's your fallback option. Or if we're going to say Kevin Durant's the first option, Kevin Durant looks back and he sees Jason Tatum as his fallback option. I think that duo, and I will agree with Hoop on this, like Crafty, I see your point and what you're saying. Like if Jaylen Brown complements Kevin Durant more, I get that, but I don't see how you think Jaylen Brown has the potential to be a better player than Jason Tatum.
Because I believe of it because his mentality. I understand the inconsistencies. You think Jason Tatum can get rid of some of these inconsistencies, But it's the same thing about Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's been more consistent. We know he's been more consistent. We don't have to rely on him to be more consistent. You have to rely on Jason Tatum to go out there and not drop 13 points in a playoff game. You don't really have that. You don't have that same fear when you have Jaylen Brown on the court. Usually you can rely to Jaylen Brown to go out there and get you at least 20. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't have games where he doesn't do that, but I'm saying with Jason Tatum, it's either his ceiling or it's his floor. He doesn't play here. He plays one of these two. And I can't rely on that.
Here's how I've seen it over the years when analyzing Brown and Tatum. And I've seen, because I've been on podcasts with people before that have been just like sitting where Crafty is right now, who say that Brown will eventually be better than Tatum. And I've had people that have said Tatum is going to continuously be better than Brown. But my thing is, these two are both inconsistent. They both have their flaws.
100%.
They're young, right?
No one says it when Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
I have
When
Jaylen
points
Brown's
are
game logs right now from the finals. They are not as good as you think.
Here's my and for me,
That's not true.
I would always see Jaylen Brown. I'm looking at the game live. So when I would see games where Tatum is falling a little bit short and looking like the freaking ground is about to sink him and take him away, Brown goes out there and he does have stretches where he can go out there and be the alpha, be the number one guy, or he has stretches where he can fall right into the same boat that Tatum is in, and you're sitting there like, well, damn, they're both just young guys playing like impulsively, trying their damnness to go iso ball and not play team ball, trying to get it done, trying to play hero ball basically. But when I look at those two, I've always been able to see it since 2018, and I think that the Boston front office and Boston fans and the majority of the NBA community sees that Tatum is their golden goose. Like, that's their guy that they are looking at saying, we're going to wrap the entire future around you. Brown is the expendable one because Tatum has been the number one guy for 5 years between the two of them. You could say that they're both on the same level, but I think of it like more 1A, 1B type thing, where it's like Tatum is the guy for the majority of those late game pushes. And then like Hoop said, when Tatum's on, he's going to hit some step back. When the shot clock is going down, when the shot clock is at 3 seconds and the ball is in Jason Tatum's hand, just know it's going to swish. It's going to bank off the top of the glass, off the side of the glass. It's going in. That's just moments that Tatum has where you look at him and you're like, he is the best player on the court. Nobody can stop him. With Brown, I've yet to see those moments as much as I've seen them with Tatum. That's the only reason why I think that Tatum is going to be better progressively in the future. But yeah.
Well, sorry to cut you guys off there. That was a great debate, but we have an even better one. If you thought that was heated, just wait. Segment 3, Hookah Luka. Back in episode 4, when Crafty wasn't here, the three of us had an extended debate about Steph Curry being a top 5 player in the NBA. And if you didn't see that, believe it or not, there was only one of the three of us that thought he was. That was very heated. But today, we want to debate a similar topic. Is Luka Doncic a top 5 player next season? If everyone has him in the top 5, is he top 3? Where does he fall in your top 5? And then we'll compare Steph to Luka Doncic. We have the Mavericks fan in here, but we'll figure out his bias as we go along. So first off, if we could start off with just our top 5 players,
right,
just so people have an understanding of what it looks like. Z, if we could start with yours.
Top 5?
Yes.
Okay. Steph, Giannis, KD, Braun, Jokic, or Luka at number 5.
So
interchangeable.
Okay. So that was in order.
So 1 and 2 is interchangeable, but pretty much in order.
Okay, cool. My top 5, I will say this. You guys, like, over the debates we've had, it's led me to believe that I would rather have Luka over Embiid. So my top 5 is now Giannis, KD, Jokic, Luka, Embiid, and then Curry's at 6.
I just want to say I have such an influence on this podcast. I feel so good about myself right now because I stuck with the same ideals the entire time.
No.
Fleeing towards
Come on,
me. They're fleeing towards me. My list
No,
right now
no,
is
listen.
Hold up. Yes, it is.
Listen.
List is Giannis at 1, Luka 2, Jokic 3, LeBron at 4, Embiid at 5, and then I actually have Curry and Durant at 6 and 7. But
yeah, that's where we differentiate. You still are on the same BS, and we're still gonna address it. But let's
all
go.
right. But Crafty, let's hear your top 5, a new one.
All right, so with my top 5, it's a little sporadic, but I have Giannis at 1, Steph at 2, Luka 3, KD, LeBron, and then Joel, Jokic, and Joel and Jokic are interchangeable, 6 and 7, whatever you want to put it.
Wow.
Okay, so at least we agree. Like our top 7 players are all the same. We're just all interchanging them in different spots.
Because those are like kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Jokic is not the 6th best player in the league.
I'd argue this guy has a case. But
he's holding up Russell Westbrook for all my Spotify viewers out there.
Listen,
God, dude.
But anyways, when it comes to Luka Doncic and Steph Curry, am I the only one who has Luka above Steph going into next season?
I have him above Steph.
I had Steph under Luka, but as the Mavericks fan here, I really want you to debate with everybody about it and win because I want to know why Luka is better than Steph. But just recency bias, I have to have Steph in there.
I have Luka over Steph.
I have Steph over Luka.
So
for now,
all right, so it's a 2-on-2. This is good. So from the Mavericks fan, I want to hear. You said it was recency bias, but I want to hear your actual reasoning. Why is Steph? You think next season Steph Curry is going to be a better player than Luka Doncic? I want to hear why.
See, I literally, when I was making this list for the notes for the podcast, I forgot Steph Curry existed and forgot to put him in here until this morning when I was looking over my notes, and I was like, this list feels like it's missing somebody in Steph Curry. And then I went through my list, and I was like, okay, I got Giannis, I got Luka, KD, LeBron, Joel. Where do I want to put him at? And we're talking about the guy who finally won a Finals MVP. This might be even, if I'm thinking about maybe ranking them, maybe I put him in there because of his past, not what he is now. But I couldn't figure out a reason why Luka is better than Steph. That was my biggest thing. I sat there and I thought about it for a solid seconds, and I thought, I can't think of a reason why Luka is better than Steph.
Right. I can give you a
think of reasons. I just want to.
Run through. That's what I said. I want you to win this debate because I want a reason to put Luka over Steph as a Mavericks fan. Go ahead.
Hear me out, and see, you can hop in to reject anytime you want. But when it comes to, we're confirming that Steph and Luka are both offensive players, and they're in the top 5 because of their offense, right, Crafty?
%.
All right. So Steph Curry can have an off game with the Warriors. Last season, there was a debate going on, a serious debate in the regular season, saying that Ja Morant was a better point guard. And while Steph turned up in the playoffs, he had his memorable performance, which was Game 4, I believe, which was the best Steph Curry performance I've ever seen. The next game, I don't know how many points he had, but he was like 2 for 9 or 10 from 3, something like that, right? A poor performance.
15
Everyone
points.
overlooks that because it's Steph Curry.
Right.
And the Warriors can still win a series and can still be a 3 seed or whatever with Steph Curry having off nights. And the reason he wasn't in my top 5, because I look at guys like Luka, who's his entire team, Giannis, Embiid, Jokic, who can't have off nights. They have off nights, they lose. Jokic has an off night, and the Nuggets are done for. They're a G League team. And while Steph Curry does set the tone for the Warriors in terms of, he's the sun, people, the defense gravitates towards him, I think the Warriors get a lot of, they don't get the respect they deserve. And Steve Kerr for actually building that system around Steph. Because while Steph, yes, is the centerpiece, there's other people that go into that system. Draymond Green doesn't get a lot of, he's the whole facilitator. And while I understand Steph is unique in that he's really the only player on the top 5 that's kind of an off-ball player, I just think when it comes to Luka, his on-ball playmaking is second to none. I think Jokic and LeBron are the only other people in that conversation. When he has all the gravity on him, he's an on-ball gravity playmaker, and he's still making plays, and he's still hitting step back threes as a semi-efficient clip, even though the defense is draped all over him, and he could take bigs down low on ball, all this stuff on ball with people ready to come at him. And while I understand Steph, the whole thing with his offense is his shooting ability is so good is that he doesn't have to perform like that every night for the Warriors to win. I think Luka's ability to show up pretty much every night against the Warriors, he averaged 32, 9, and 6. Almost 2 steals. And while his team loses, because, the Mavericks were not that stacked, I just think Luka outperformed Steph Curry. And, Steph Curry, he has the Warriors.
Right.
Z, you're making that face, but 32, 9, and 6 is wild.
To build on what...
I wanted to do ad-libs for you the whole time you were doing that like I was the Migos, because that was fire, okay? I just want you to know I was about to start doing ad-libs for you in the back.
To build on what...
I like that.
I want to let you know. See, Steph during that Warriors series was 24, 6, and 7
during
Luka's
the Warriors Mavs.
Yes, the entire series.
Wait. How long did that series go again? 5?
Bro,
4?
it's the Mavericks versus the Warriors.
Dude.
I'd like to add that.
This is my thing. This is my thing. For one, you saying Luka outperformed Steph is more situational based than him just pulling up on the court and being like, yeah, I'm about to cook him. Because like you just said, Luka is his team. At the same time, I think, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to preference this, Luka is going to pass Steph for me eventually. And who knows, it actually could be this season, honestly, because Steph's getting up there in age and Luka is not getting any older at any point in time.
Well, he's
there with Steph.
Yeah, he's progressing in age.
Yeah. But he's still what, 27 type, like he's not even in his 30s. So Luka's definitely going to be there. But here's my thing. When you're talking about gravitational pull and on ball and all of these things, Steph Curry does that too. And in my opinion, he does it better than anybody in the league. The man literally can just be on the court, and he is a problem for defenses because that's the guy you got to watch. That doesn't mean if you're gonna press him just by yourself, you're gonna call in a double team, or you're gonna quadruple team him at half court. We've seen each and every single type of defensive coverage you could possibly throw at a 6'3" point guard on Steph Curry.
You're acting like that's not the same deal with Luka.
Oh my God. Here's my thing. We've talked about this before, and you have said it, Hoop and Sainey. I think you attested to it. Steph's short. So when we're looking at guys and we're looking at the top 5, I said, okay, I remember when I asked you guys, is the reason that you don't have Steph as one of the top 3, in Hoop's case, top 5 players in the league because of his height? Is that the case?
Yeah,
because
if Steph Curry played the same way as he played now as 6'8", 6'9", then yeah, he'd be a top 3 player in the league.
Yeah,
but that's what he was born with. That's his physical attributes. You can't use that argument.
And in my head, I don't look at that and say I don't look at the ifs and the buts. I look at the facts. And the fact of the matter is Steph Curry is still looked at widely as the best point guard in the game. The reigning Finals MVP, All-Star Game MVP, 3-point champion, yada, yada, yada. And on top of that, if you wanted to throw in the fact that Steph had a down year last year, which we've done before, a down year for Steph Curry in the case of that is probably a pretty good year for another superstar in league history. Like that being the down year for Steph, I look at it as nothing. I literally look at it as nothing. And to your point about the Warriors, hold on, Crafty, I'm going to let you get to it in a second.
You go ahead.
To your point about the Warriors and how they don't need Steph to have a good game, yada, yada, yada. There's a big difference between Steph being on the floor and playing bad than Steph not being on the court at all.
Yes,
I've noticed that with the Warriors over the years. I've noticed that. And that's always resonated in my head. I'm like, okay, Steph could play bad or whatever the case may be. Wait, can you hear me now? Hear me still?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I tripped out. I said, Steph can play bad, right? And other guys can have a great game. But the reason that they're having that game is because the defense is still looking and saying, okay, Steph may be 0 for 8 right now from 3, but we're not going to give him an open look at all because we don't want to even see him get the ball to go into the basket. So on top of that, I look at that and I say, okay, that's one way you could look at it. You could also look at it and say, where would they be if Steph wasn't on the court at all? If he was sitting on the bench dressed up looking like Anthony Davis. They'd be better
than the Mavericks without Luka.
I don't think that's the case at all. As a matter of fact, when Steph Curry got hurt last year from Marcus Smart, literally, they looked unrecognizable because Draymond's running the floor, sure, but you still have Clay who's out there kind of the same way, kind of not. Jordan Poole was able to elevate, but he wasn't able to do that during the final stretch between March and April when Steph was out. Jordan Poole was still struggling to find his rhythm and find a way to get into the offense. So the point is that Steph, if he's not there, the Warriors are going to look unrecognizable. The Warriors can still get the job done because he's there if he's playing bad. For those reasons, he's not only top 5, but he's top 3 to me, and he's better than Luka.
I understand, right? I feel like you're proving that Steph Curry is like that still elite caliber player, but we're comparing Steph to Luka. And you take Luka off the Mavericks, it's Jalen Brunson running a show with Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
Love Reggie to death.
Spencer Dinwiddie coming off an ACL tear.
But Spencer Dinwiddie, you're comparing Spencer Dinwiddie to Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Klay Thompson. I know Klay Thompson, he's not what he used to be. But that's still like the squads are comparable. It's not like the Warriors are that much worse than the Mavericks. The Mavericks are that much worse than the Warriors. And I think it's a matter, obviously, at this point, it's preference. But I just look at the regular season, and while, yes, the playoffs are really what matter, I just think going into next year, Steph ages another year. I think there's a chance that the Warriors don't pull off what they did last year. And there's Steph Curry doesn't make past the second round. They face a tough Clippers team, and then what we look at is John Morant better than Steph Curry? And I think those media narratives can pop up next year because Steph, he's aging another year, and while he shows up in the big moments, like there's a real chance that he doesn't get a chance to reprove himself after a short regular season to Steph Curry standards. I think Luka's only going to get better. He was already, I think, like a top two playoff performer last year. He was incredible against the Jazz, against the Warriors, without much help at all. With all this Jalen Brunson slander going around, apparently he's not that good. So,
I'm gonna let you finish. I need to grab a charger really quick. My phone is about to die, but I will be right back. Great, go ahead. Do your thing.
So, Crafty, now we go back to you. Now you heard my point. You heard Z's point. Has your mindset shifted at all? Sainey, I want to get you in on this too.
100%. But while Z's gone, he can watch this during the replay of the podcast. I don't know if he wants to go watch it later. If we're talking about down years, a down year for Luka Doncic is 100 times better than a down year for Steph Curry. A down year for Steph Curry looked like what we saw last year, and if we look at the last two beginning of the seasons, what did we say about Luka Doncic? Oh, he's out of shape.
He's out of shape.
This isn't the same Luka. This is not Luka Doncic. Well, not Luka Doncic or bad beginning of the season Luka Doncic was 25, 6, and 6. That was what we called out of shape and bad Luka Doncic. Was 25, 6, and 6 a night. That was my only discrepancy is when he started using the bad year comment is if we're going to use that argument, Steph Curry and Luka's off games are not the same.
And I do think on-ball dominance is more important than off-ball dominance because there's not a lot of. I mean, Steph Curry is really one of the only off-ball superstars, but a bad night for him looks bad. Like it looks bad on paper for a regular player. Like we're not talking about superstar bad. It looks bad. It looks like 12 points on 0 for 8 from 3. Bad.
My whole reasoning for why I have Luka over Curry is mainly dependency. What the player can I depend on more if I wanted to win a game? And I do have reasoning to back this up. I'm going to use not the bubble season, but you know how there was a season where there was no fans? What was it, like last season, 2 seasons ago?
That was the Julius Randle season.
The Julius Randle season, exactly.
We folded when fans showed up.
When Klay Thompson wasn't with them and Draymond was injured for a bit of the season, we saw Curry try to carry a Warriors team, right? And, you know, I get the play-in was still a new thing. Technically, they still wouldn't have made the playoffs, but they would have made it as an 8 seed. And if we're going to factor in the play-in, because Luka has to deal with the play-in too, it's not like only Curry has to deal with it. Curry didn't make the playoffs, plain and simple. He had a team to lead by himself, and he couldn't do it. Luka Doncic...
And the narratives on him were bad
and the narrative,
once it ended.
Luka Doncic, we have seen Luka drag that Mavericks team to the playoffs every season since he's been in the league. He might have not made it his rookie season. Correct me if I'm wrong. But since Luka tapped into his prime...
Misinformation on Lepodcast.
No, I said, correct me if I'm wrong, rookie season. I said the rookie season. But since Luka has tapped into his prime, he has brought the Mavericks to the playoffs. The times he's lost was against that Clippers team, which in my opinion, they would have won it all if they were healthy throughout the whole playoffs. And he still took them to, 6 or 7 games every time, torching them on the court. That Mavericks team was just terrible built around them. Like, I'm not hating on the Mavericks, Crafty. Like, the team is dope.
No, you can't.
But mainly it's literally because of Luka, right? Yeah. And the fact that Luka this season took the Mavericks to the Western Conference Finals and on the way there beat the Suns after being down 2-0. And in that Game 7, and I'm telling you right now, I was in Mexico. I was out eating at a Thai place with my brother, and I was watching that game on my phone. And when I saw they were up by 40 at half, I turned my phone off and congratulated the Mavericks. How the hell do you beat the number 1 seeded team that just went to the finals the season before? They're a 60-plus win team, and Luka by himself, the Mavericks played good, but let's be honest, if it wasn't for Luka, they would be nowhere near that position, blow out that team like they did. That whole season was about Suns versus Warriors, who's going to win the West. And the Mavericks to just slip in like that, and for Luka to just torch the Suns like that, Curry would not do that by himself. I am telling you right now, Curry is not capable of torching a number 1 seed 60-plus win team like Luka did to the Suns in that series. And that is why I would take Luka over Steph Curry, because if I were to take a team and say I want to win, who would I rather take, Luka or Steph Curry? I am taking Luka.
Z, before you go on your rant, because I see your face right now, you're nodding your head. I think Luka can be more consistent over a 7-game series in terms of carrying the load. But Steph can have that kind of performance.
He can. I'm not hating on Steph. No. I'm not hating on Steph.
Yeah.
Like Steph, bro, he's top 6 for me. Like I'm not saying Steph Curry, Luka is miles ahead of Steph Curry, 100%. But let's be honest here. Crafty, I'll ask you the same question because I know you said you wanted an argument to give a reason why you would put Luka over Curry. You're a Mavericks fan. Hypothetically, gun to your head, someone comes up to you and says you need to choose a player to lead a team into the playoffs and to win you games. Who are you taking, Luka or Steph Curry? And whatever your answer is who you think is the better player. And I think in your head, you know damn well you're taking Luka Doncic. Because if you need to build a team, you would take Luka.
Most
So
of the
you
time
see
that
this-
is the
oh,
case,
man.
and this time that is the case because I will fully admit on this podcast that I right now am just saying Luka without actually doing any of this research myself and hearing them talk.
Right.
I'm just saying Luka because for the sake of Mavericks. But I will say, without Steph Curry, the Warriors are a team that can get a ninth, eighth, a play-in seed.
Right.
Without Luka Doncic, the Dallas Mavericks are fighting for Chet Holmgren and Victor Wembanyama.
100%,
That's what we're doing
100%.
without Luka
Yo,
Doncic.
100%.
Sainey and Crafty, bro, I'm shaking my head right now because like Sainey, bro, you're on my team right now, and we're trying to get like Luka over Steph. Like, we're trying to convert the people, but I think Steph Curry is just so clearly a ceiling raiser, and by saying like Luka is a floor raiser, just like LeBron, and we've seen those debates where like Kevin Durant, like is he a ceiling raiser or a floor raiser? I feel like that's more of a ceiling raiser, floor raiser debate than it is a better player debate. And I know the whole thing, what Z was probably going to say is that even though Steph Curry can't, carry a team in an entire playoff series like that, like his team's going to win because he's a ceiling raiser. And even though he has an off night, like they're still going to win. And I think it's just clearly a preference thing, whether or not you want on-ball stats if you lose or if you want,
But the argument here is who's the better basketball player. But the argument here is who's the better basketball player. And a floor raiser is always better than a ceiling raiser.
No,
I don't know if that's true.
Hold on. So by the way, I switched to my AirPod for a split second. I will revert back to my original mic during LeDecision, but for now we're just going to listen to this. So here's my thing. When we're talking about guys who are looked at as, okay, no, this dude's the better player. This dude's the better player. I look at that and I say, okay, let's talk about.
I'm trying to say we have 10 minutes. Sorry.
Okay, cool. I'm trying to. You got to look at preference, like Hoop is saying, right? I love Luka. He's my top 5. I am going to buy a jersey. Luka is one of my favorite players. However, I think because of my preference, I like Steph more because of what Steph is able to do and what he brings to the court compared to Luka. They both bring something different to the table. As you said, Luka can go out there just like LeBron. Literally get on my back. I'm going to take you to the second round, and that's about it. But that's fine. Until I get a team around me, you know for a fact I'm always going to be here just waiting to kick down this door. But as soon as I got some guys behind me that are going to be able to help, I'm going to be here, and I'm going to be able to go full-fledged, right? We know as soon as Luka gets himself a squad, a good squad, Luka's going to be that guy. He's definitely getting a championship. But all I'm saying is for the here and now, when I look at Steph Curry and what he's able to do on the basketball court, the amount of attention that he as an individual requires from another team, because I feel like, now correct me if I'm wrong, I want to see how y'all are feeling here. If you were an NBA coach, who would be more difficult to prepare for, Steph or Luka Doncic?
Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic.
Interesting.
It's
Luka Doncic.
Steph Curry. It's Steph Curry.
I disagree.
To prepare for someone is different than trying. Like you're gonna man up with Luka. Like, I mean, you could try to double him, but Steph Curry is just more. It's more intricate than that because he gets the whole team involved. And until Luka has a second option, it's weird because we're talking about players here and not situations. If Luka has a second option, then it's a little different. But right now, it's crowd Luka. He's an on-ball player. It's very difficult to guard an off-ball player, and that's not changing my mind. I still think Luka's the better player.
I disagree.
I don't think
because
like
even when you throw those guys at Luka has been in triple teams, and somehow his slow looks like he was playing in the 1940s Bob Cousy looking self will get past all 3 of those 100%. Dudes and get the ball in the hoop.
Agreed.
And
we saw teams figure out Steph Curry this season.
I'm not saying he hasn't done that. I'm just saying that you can't prepare for Luka Doncic.
Steph had the worst shooting season of his career this season. Like we saw teams figure out.
It's more of a Warriors Mavericks question. That question's flawed because we could talk about who is more difficult to prepare for, like in a one-on-one situation. But like it's all about how the team is involved. And Steph Curry, obviously, when you talk about Steph Curry, you need to talk about the Warriors.
We should probably start heading into LeDecision. By the way, we got.
Let's let Z finish.
Last point, and then we'll wrap up.
Last thing. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. Just because I remembered it just now. Ryan, Light Out Sports, ladies and gentlemen. Right before the Western Conference Finals started, he called me and he said that he believed that Luka was better than Steph, and he said that he was going to wait and see what happens in the conference finals. And he said that if Luka Doncic beat Steph, he was gonna just bring this wave of Luka's better than Steph onto the basketball world, which wasn't there at the time, and now is apparently trying to get there though Steph has gotten past Luka, whatever. Now Hoop and Sainey, and I think half a Crafty wants to try and bring that narrative into the world. But I'm here saying it's going to happen eventually. Oh. This season, however, Luka could go out there and average 30 and change my mind. I'll be willing to sit here on this show and say, Luka changed my mind. He's better than Steph. But until I see it, that's all I'm going to say.
Your mic's cutting out a lot.
If you could switch into your headphones.
Switch into that
for the last segment, and then we'll let Nate finish out.
Yeah. So Crafty, after hearing that whole debate, I know you said you're still iffy on the subject. Why don't you let the pod know, who do you have now, Luka or Steph Curry?
Well, as a Mavericks fan, I'm gonna choose Luka.
Non-biased. Non-biased. We want a non-biased.
Do you genuinely believe it in your heart?
Genuine in your heart.
Gun to your head. Gun to your head. In my heart. Gun to my head, and I had to get the right answer. I'm gonna say Luka Doncic, but also because I am a kind of guy who likes to see a basketball player. I love stat sheets. I know that stats aren't perfect, but I do like to see stat sheets, and nobody in the NBA fills a stat sheet like Luka Doncic. But I do want to point out the one thing about the preparation question. How do you prepare for each player? You guys got Nico Mannion. Why can't you get Jason Kidd, Steve Kerr, have them duke it out? Get them on. Get them on. Make this a TikTok clip. This is me calling out for their podcast. Jason Kidd and Steve Kerr join the podcast.
See how each team prepares for each other. But we got about like 4 minutes left. Z, if you want to do your LeDecision, heading into that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. It is finally time. I announced that I was going to be making this decision approximately 3.5 weeks ago, and the decision is based upon the fact that, as you know, I am a Derrick Rose fan for life. 4L, like 21 said. However, it has come a time where now I have to let, when you love something, you just got to let it go. So I got to let Rose drift off into the sunset as my favorite player of all time. But now I have to root for a team. And over the course of the last 5 to 6 seasons, I've sat back and tried to, enjoy the teams that I was a part of, but I never really felt connected to a fan base. And I always wanted to be connected to a fan base. So I narrowed down my decisions to 3 different teams. Those teams consist of the Milwaukee Bucks, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Golden State Warriors. I've reached out to a lot of different people, creators, my friends, my family, to help me make this decision, and it's a tough one. I've said it before. Giannis, I believe, is going to be the face of the league at some point in the next 5 years. John Morant is a reincarnation of Derrick Rose. The only problem with his team is Dylan Brooks. But I love him. I love John, I love the Memphis Grizzlies, and I love their young grit and grind style of basketball. And then for the Warriors, of course, I used to hate the Golden State Warriors in middle school, namely because and this is a story that I haven't told you guys, but in 8th grade, I had a crush on this girl, basically, right? So what happened was she was a Steph Curry fan. And the way that I thought to get to her heart was to, for some reason, hate Steph Curry. And this was when he originally started popping off. So every time she would come into the lunchroom in the morning for breakfast, she would be bragging about whatever Steph did the night before. And I was like, nah, Bron better, Rose better, don't matter, whatever, right? I used to hate these guys. But over the years, I've had to watch this dynasty get built. And honestly, it's been fun to watch because they play the best style of basketball in the business for me. So this is very tough. I put my decision into Wheel Decide, which is a website, and it allows me to spin and pick a choice. I've also texted one of the number 1 members of this fan base and asked for this person's permission and blessing to join this fan base. This person was out of my league, Haley, who has informed me that she gives ZZ Huncho her blessing to join the Golden State Warriors as a new member of the fan base. And I know what you're thinking. He's just like Kevin Durant. You're damn right. And let me tell you why. Not only did I call the Warriors winning the championship last year at the start of the season. Y'all know that. Y'all all know that. All my creator friends know that. Called it from the start of the season, during the season, and in the playoffs. And I was right, of course. But I'm not even looking at this team for championship success next year because I honestly don't even really know if they can go back-to-back. But for the future, I like Jordan Poole. He also likes Lepodcast. Thank you, Jordan. Obviously, James Wiseman, Moody, Kuminga, all of them, the cum bucket, everything. Pause. Nonetheless, I love the future that they have, and I am willing to sit here and even if next season they win 15 games, I don't care. you love or you hate a franchise. You can love or hate me. You can call me a bandwagon. I've been called a bandwagon for the past 7 years. I've been called a bandwagon when I was on rooting for the Knicks, the Timberwolves,
What are
the
you
Cleveland
talking
Cavs.
about rooting for the Knicks?
If there is
Yes,
ever a
I'm rooting for the
bandwagon
Knicks.
fan for the Knicks, like if that ever exists, I will not be alive for it. Okay.
Really?
Amen.
Hey, I've heard it all. Haley told me that, and shout out to Haley because she texted me right before we did the show, and she said, "Listen, if you're willing to deal with bandwagon comments or LeBron fans and Steph haters, you're good." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I'm not gonna really care anyway. I know Hoop and Sainey are gonna ridicule me
Every episode.
but here we are.
Every episode.
Every episode.
I'm
You know
really,
what?
Every episode.
You know what?
I'm
And
really
on top
upset
of
with
that,
Haley right now.
Yeah,
I'm here
seriously,
for it.
seriously.
Let me tell you why I'm here for it. Because you two don't have Steph top 5. So
I
what the hell
don't.
am I? So what the hell am I gonna do and sit here and listen to that blasphemy every single day?
That
You're
has-
gonna make me.
what? How does that compare
if I
to being
picked
a Warriors
Memphis-
fan?
If I picked Memphis, for example, this is how I started to iron out the details. If I picked Memphis, then y'all would have still had Steph literally out of your top 5. I still would have been, supporting and supporting Steph and the Warriors and rooting them on. But then y'all would have been like, oh, you might as well have been a Warriors fan, whatever. Nonetheless, I'm a fan of the NBA as a whole. However, the franchise that I feel the most safest with, that can handle the greatness of ZZ Huncho, will
Safest with?
be Golden
Oh my gosh.
State.
All right.
Warriors.
Well, that was that was not the decision I expected, and I'm honestly disappointed. But we gotta
I cannot wait
we gotta
to
move
see the
on here.
comments.
We gotta move on here because we are running a little late.
Hey, you can either love me or you can hate me.
I think
ZZ
we're
Huncho don't give a damn anyway.
every listener is aware of this by now if they're weekly or they're regular listeners. But Crafty, we do this thing where we end off on a secret segment, Sainey's secret segment. And I'm glad we got to keep you on till the end because
Choo-choo.
my secret segment is based around Crafty. It's a question only for Crafty. Hoop and Z, unfortunately, you can't be on the SSS today.
Well, that sucks.
I made a short question just because I didn't want to run on
Not
too
even
long.
the birthday boy?
I'm sorry. Y'all understand why. Crafty,
Read between the
you're a
lines.
huge Mavericks fan, all right? And you guys just made the Western Conference Finals. You were so close, but you're just not there yet. To all those Mavericks fans out there, and we all know you know a thing or two about ball, what do you think the Mavericks need to do? One move that you would like to see the Mavericks do this offseason that'll help them push for that finals run.
Outbid the Cleveland Cavaliers for Colin Sexton in free agency. He's a restricted free agent at the moment, and if anybody's going to replace the hole that Jalen Brunson left us, and no one will, it's going to be somewhat along the lines of Colin Sexton. We went out and we got the center. Not saying the center we needed, but somebody over 7 foot. So that's one thing off of our list. We lost Jalen Brunson, and the closest player available still in free agency where we won't have to give up anything but Mark Cuban's sweet money is Colin Sexton. So that's the best option I see right now. No matter what we do, I do not see us getting past the Western Conference Finals next season. I'm not going to put it past Luka to not take us there again, though. But
I'd love to hear it. All right, well, that was
NBA Finals is out of the reach.
Seems like you knew what you wanted heading into this beforehand, obviously, but that was a great way to end off the episode. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to comment "Happy Birthday, Zesty," because we all know he loves reading the comments. This was a great episode, guys. Crafty, we'd love to have you on again. This was dope, and I think that's
That
about
was a
it.
great debate.
Thanks.
Very, very heated.
I'm gonna say this too. I don't know why y'all are surprised that I picked Golden State. I knew you wouldn't be.
We're not
No,
going to
I-
start this
I-
combo again. We're not going to start this
I am
combo
surprised.
again.
I didn't know you were like that.
That's why they call me the infamous ZZ Huncho.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope to hear from you next episode. Peace.